The best in poker news, entertainment, and more. This is the Mark Hoke Show.
Hey everybody, how are we doing? It's Sunday night. And of course, it's time for the Mark Hoke Show. Happy to have everybody along this evening. Marco's trying to hide under the Mark Hoke Show logo. All right, Marco, do me. I just tested the mic. I couldn't. You gotta get in close. Love the microphone.
No, I'm not gonna love the microphone. Hello.
It's all good. Hi everybody. How are we doing today? Great to see you. We are back on the air again. I am Greek. Opa, give him an opa. You got to give him an opa. He knows you.
Opa.
There we go. Get in the spirit of things.
Greek.
I felt so bad because the last show, I didn't do the opa until about an hour in.
I was listening and I tuned out as soon as I saw that there was going to be no Opa.
Yeah.
Was that dismayed?
I know. It's
I can only imagine how Greek felt.
Devastated. We got all these Greek
Surprised
listeners.
he's still listening.
Yeah, it's all right. He's very loyal.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us today, guys.
Thank
We
you.
are here
You
live.
weren't talking to me.
Well, thank you too.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it. Wow, we are off to a flying start.
I think so. I like the start we're on. We're
Okay.
flying.
Well,
Thank you for flying, Mark Hoke Show.
Jesus Christ, here we go.
Please direct your attention to the people who demonstrate the belts and stuff. But go ahead.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate
Take
it.
us off, brother.
He wants to take this thing over.
No, I
can tell.
don't.
No, you don't.
No, you're doing just fine.
Okay, thank you. I
right.
appreciate that. But thanks for being with us. I'm going to move that logo over. So
No,
Marcus-
I like that.
There
just
we
where it
go.
was.
See, there we go. See,
All right.
now we can see your head. You have great hair, Marco.
Thank you. Yeah, it grows out for sure, as it does with most people. But with me, it seems to be especially enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, hey, first thing we have to do, make sure we thank all the great sponsors of the show, and there's about 4 billion of them now. I'm starting to lose track.
Shit.
It's
All right.
good. It's a
All
good
right.
problem
I
to
like
have.
it. Absolutely.
Of course, we want to thank our good friends at Blind Squirrel. Hey, you still have time to get in on the Twitter and Facebook contest. We're giving away that Blind Squirrel apparel combo pack.
Combo pack. You still have time. What are you doing?
It's awesome. Casino jacket, T-shirt, hat from Blind Squirrel Apparel.
Can I get any of this stuff just by appearing on today's show?
No.
You should give at least one item out to your guests because then, they feel a bit better about it.
I'm working on it.
Please.
I'm getting there.
That'd be cool.
I'm getting there. Yeah, we'll start the comp card up soon, I promise.
I like it.
But, of course, make sure you guys go follow us on Twitter, Mark Hoke Show. You can follow us, of course, follow RogueWire. That gets you 2 entries.
RogueWire.
Yes, RogueWire.com. And then go on Facebook, follow the Mark Hoke Show page, and, of course, the RogueWire page. 4 shots. I'm drawing those names tonight. Someone's going to win that pack.
Can't the brother here get a shout out for his own social media or his own Twitter? Or, you've been extremely disrespectful ever since we started the show.
See, Marco, you have to understand. I always leave that stuff for my guests at the end. So when they go
But
off
fewer
the air-
people will be listening then.
No, they're.
Yes.
Well, it depends. It depends how you do.
All right.
It depends how you do. If you bore them, then
All right,
they
so
won't be
the
listening.
The pressure's on. I guess you're right. That makes sense. Okay, go
See,
ahead.
then they remember it at the end. And once
Who's
you get
the
off
next
the air-
sponsor we're thanking?
I'm not even done thanking Blind Squirrel Apparel.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
Well, hurry up.
20% off if you go to the Wow, I'm done. 20% off. You go to blindsquirrelapparel.com. Put in the code Hoke. Pick up your great Blind Squirrel Apparel gear. We've also got 2 other.
Hoke.
Yeah.
Santa's here. He's giving out blind squirrel stuff.
Merchandising. As
That's
the kids
right.
like to say. 3Bet clothing.
Aha.
Some guys you're very familiar with, I know. Also, 15% off if you go
Who's
to 3bet.com.
who are the guys?
Dan, and of course, all your great pros like Antonio Esfandiari.
Never heard of him.
No.
Don't know.
You
Don't know.
kind of have a resemblance to Antonio.
Is that so?
It's the same kind of. You got the same vibe.
Well, we're both Persian.
Okay.
That
works.
we both have done extremely well at poker. Yeah, we've both been on Times Square.
Did you just put yourself in Antonio's poker stratosphere?
Yeah, no, you're the one who said we resemble one another.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about your games.
I think the only thing we have in common is that we both wear glasses. And his are cooler than mine.
Yeah, usually.
I like Antonio, though. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, awesome guy. I can't wait to have him on the show finally.
No,
that's happening after this World Series is over. Then the NEPT Poker's in there, by the way, asking if we're in a boxing ring. Behind us is the boxing ring where they shoot Project All In. Marco's going up there right now. He's storming the ring. You got a little Ultimate Warrior thing for us so we can see Marco's feet. Don't hurt yourself. I don't have insurance.
Okay.
Wow.
Just proving that it was a ring.
Saturday night this Saturday night at 8 p.m. Pacific is showtime for Project All In. I'll be doing commentary on that along with Nate Rowland. We're going to have a great time over here. The grill, you see that grill over there, Marco? It's over there. They bust that thing out.
I don't see no grill.
It's there. It's a big grill.
All right.
Trust me, it's there. Honest to God. And, of course, we have NHR drag racing and everything going on up here. And you can come up to Quan International if you want to join in and have a good time.
It's really far.
It's not
I think it's only fair. Well, it depends on where you live.
It depends
if
where,
you live
where
in
you
Utah, it's very close.
Well, yeah.
If you live in Las Vegas, it takes you about. That's all I'm saying. I'm not discouraging people. I'm just saying, make sure you got plenty of gas in your car.
Yeah, it's about. Well,
but the sights on the way are beautiful. The mountains. I like the mountains now. I love to watch the mountains, especially at this time of the day. Sun setting. It's very lovely.
Yeah, it's beautiful up here. You might, bring your dates.
Yeah.
Have a little chance to. I'm sure there'll be some fireworks going off.
Absolutely. I would totally take my date here. Boxing ring and poker tables. It's very romantic and geared towards today's young female.
Yes, perfect. Like Christina.
Yeah, actually, we were talking about that.
She's a badass.
She is,
She's
for sure.
Badass. Would you drive that? Would you drive that speedboat over there?
Wouldn't.
Would you try it? No.
Where? No, I've never gone speedboating, but it looks gorgeous. It looks very nice.
I'd die. I know what would happen if they actually let me drive that thing. I'd flip it in 10 seconds.
Well, then don't do it.
I'd ride with Christina.
Aha.
Because I trust her. Me,
for
not
sure.
so much.
Where can we take it in Nevada? Like where can we go ride it? Is there like a lake or something? There is a lake.
Yeah, there's a really big lake real close by.
I don't know.
It's called Lake Mead.
Yeah, we can. Can we take that out on Lake Mead?
Why the hell not?
Yeah.
I mean,
want to do it right now? Let's ditch the show.
She'd be so mad.
She won't find out. It'll be like Ferris Bueller.
The's no way. She's coming. She's going to be here in an hour.
I don't. No,
Mom and Dad are going to be home soon, Marco. We can't do it.
All right. Okay, let's move on with the show.
That's my kid brother over there.
All right.
Oh, man. Let's see. Oh, my God. Final 9
Do you not feel like doing the show?
I do, but I have people to thank before I start the show.
Well, hurry up. You started thanking people 50 minutes ago.
I'm trying.
The show's done.
Final 9 comic. Make sure you guys go and start downloading that free preview. The new issue is going to be out here in about 3 weeks. Decided to move it up a little bit because, they're looking for perfection. So check it out. It is 9 become 1 way or another. Check it out, final9comic.com. Let's see, who else we got? We got a whole bunch of them that I'm blanking on right now. That's Off Tail Poker Tables. Good friends, Brian Knott at Off Tail Poker Tables. Go to offtailpokertables.com. And we are going to be starting the Off Tail Poker Tables series up very soon. I just don't want to get disrupted with the November 9 coming.
No, you don't want to get disrupted.
No, we don't want to start that, have one tournament.
No, that would suck.
Run into the Hall of Fame.
And how could you live with yourself if that happened?
I'd be devastated.
Exactly.
Because I want to make sure that everybody has their chance to win that brand new custom poker table. It would probably look good in your house.
How very righteous.
I got you, man.
I'm looking at the chat. People are making fun of me.
Of course they
for
are.
being late. I'm getting better with punctuality. I really am. It's not even a thing about me. It's a Mediterranean thing from Italy. Just, the Mediterraneans, that whole part of Europe. We're a fun-loving people.
Yeah.
We're an animated people, and we're an easygoing bunch. And when you're easygoing, you tend to value punctuality less.
Right.
We're not like these cold, efficient Scandinavian or Anglo-Saxon types.
You bet.
There you go. See? I'll bet you've never been late.
I have, but very early.
You have been very early?
Very rarely.
Oh, very
rarely.
rarely.
I'm sorry. I shall enunciate. Yeah.
There you go. See, so it's biological. It's it's ethnic, Hoke.
Grandma said 15 minutes early. She taught me that when I was a little kid.
That's a wonderful thing to teach.
Yeah.
No one ever taught me that.
See,
they taught me about Jesus,
okay.
but they didn't teach me the whole 15 minutes thing.
See, my grandma was wonderful.
Yeah.
Kept me squared up.
Sounds like it.
Let's see. Poker Joker. Make sure you go to teampokerjoker.com. Who else did we just pick up? We are having a new sponsor coming on the KLAV show, who we will be hearing from on here from time to time. DoubleDigitCovers.com.
Double-digit covers. Get out.
You betcha.
Get the frick out.
I tell you what, if you want to place your sports bets, you want to get the right information from Tony Dosa and the guys,
Yeah.
go to DoubleDigitCovers.com.
DoubleDigitCovers.com. Oh,
It's money.
Mark Hoke, I never.
Hey, what can I say?
Are we done with the sponsor thing?
Did you put any money on any games this weekend, Marco?
Not this weekend. The last time I bet, I think was at the World Series last year. I bet on one of the players or something. I think I bet on Alan Bari. He was an extreme underdog going into not the final table, like the last 17 of some mixed tournament. He was short stacked. He had like 2 blinds, and it was like 500 to 1. So I bet like $10 or something like that.
Oh, that's not bad.
Maybe not 500, maybe more like 50, and the payout would have been like $500.
Huge.
I'm not sure.
So you put money on Alan Barry.
I put money on Barry, and he doubled up at one point or something.
Oh,
but then
that's
he
good.
went bust out. Yeah, but that was exciting.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So, yep. So if there's anybody I forgot, I promise I'll get to you later on in the show. So, but we want to start talking a little poker here with Marco,
I should hope so.
just for fun.
It's my forte, obviously.
It is what it is. Well, you were telling me it's not as much your forte anymore. What have you been?
But yeah, it's funny. I was talking to some people on Facebook the other day about this, and it just really just came out. Like I don't really play poker. I haven't played a lot of poker for years now. When I got more into, you remember, quad jacks and the media stuff and the radio stuff. I mean, primarily I was a media person, an interviewer and a reporter, et cetera, and who happened to be working in poker. Now I entered that space because I really enjoyed poker. I used to enjoy poker a lot. I used to love to play it. I never stopped loving it. It's just that as time went by, I just played it less.
You don't have time.
I don't have time, and quite honestly, it's not really something I feel like doing as often as like a lot of people who instead are in poker, and not just obviously the poker players play a lot of poker.
Yeah.
But even people in the poker media, people, they're always looking for the next opportunity to go play, and I don't know. I'm no longer as drawn to it or as attracted to it as I used to be. There was a period when I was really infatuated with it, and then I kind of snapped out of that. But in the meantime, I got to know so many people in poker, and then I started monitoring, the poker industry and the poker world and what's happening with online gambling, which to me is fascinating. And it's just an environment I stuck around in, But I mean, I never really made a pretense that I was any kind of player or habitual player. I love to play it recreationally, but I'm not as active at the felt as most people in poker media, and I think that's obvious, and I think most people understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I got 2 tournaments in the World Series this year, and I couldn't believe it.
I've never played a World Series of poker event, believe it or not.
Really?
And this year, I really wanted to play one of the what do they call it? The daily deep stacks. Yeah. That thing, right? I really wanted to, and I was going to. I'm just like, screw it. I've got to make time for one of these things. But I mean, you know how busy it is at the World Series.
Right.
It just never happened, and then I never really planned for it well. I never said, okay, today's the day because maybe, one day it's like, oh, well, today I have to talk to Antonio or Jason Kuhn or something like that. And I never could make time for it. But yeah, I've never even played a single tournament at the World Series of Poker.
Wow, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You should do one.
No.
I can tell you it's a thrill.
That's something too. Like, like for a bracelet, minimum is $1,000. I really don't think of maybe that's another thing too. I don't think my chances are good.
Marco, you can get backed.
No, I don't want. No, first of all, I don't think. Well, maybe I could, but I don't want to.
Marco,
no,
I'm going to tell you what ended up happening to me this World Series was I had the backing, and then like 2 people didn't get me the money.
Well, then you didn't have the backing.
But I actually was overbooked. I turned people down. They were backing me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, Marco.
I'm sure, but I don't want to. I mean, I don't think I'm a favorite under. That's another thing too. I mean, you as well. Like, when you've interviewed as many poker players, like you and I have, and oftentimes I would interview them about poker, you realize just like what an underdog you are. I remember, I remember one of the things we used to do was we would live stream like the big majors, not the big majors, but like the big series like Poker Stars, the Scoop, W Coop, and stuff like that. And we used to invite these poker players, these online poker players, and we would do commentary. And I just remember being, always blown away by just how advanced and sophisticated their thought processes were when they were looking at people making raises, making moves. And you hear that, and you hear that as many times as I have, and you start realizing, holy shit, like, poker's tough. And if you're not willing to dedicate yourself so much to the study of it, you're unlikely to make any consistent amount of money. So you can only kind of resign yourself to playing it recreationally, which is fine. And with all the media stuff I was doing, I just didn't really have time. I wasn't so motivated, or I wasn't so attracted to poker that I wanted to set aside 8 hours, 10 hours to play it, study it, talk about it. It's more like, all right, it's a wonderful game. It's a great community of people. Sometimes they're trolls and they're mean, but other than that, it's wonderful. I get to come, I mean, look at this. I mean, this is all kind of poker related. You're in this it's a really cool place here amidst the mountains, surrounded by the mountains. You've got a ring here. You've got the poker. This is all poker. Poker. That's what I like about poker. It's not just a game of cards. It's this whole culture. It's this local culture. It's national culture. I love it. Poker's allowed me, like to travel, and I just came from Europe. I'm about to go to Philadelphia tomorrow, and it's all because of poker and the way the poker community and culture and is evolving online. That's a big driver of it. So that's, to me, there's this much bigger world of poker and of gambling in general, I should say. And playing it is only one part of it, and it's not a part that I am that committed to.
Well, you've been getting into more of opening yourself up with your media work in more gambling type stuff. I know you were covering, down at the gaming convention. You just went to Barcelona. You're going to Philadelphia. What are some of the more interesting topics that you've been seeing, that maybe poker players should be aware of as time is going on here? It's been pretty interesting. A lot of legislation and goofy stuff happening. Or
You're making a big mistake being an online gaming advocate, Marco. Stick to poker, or I will troll you as an online gambling opponent. Gotta love Casino Examiner.
He's awesome, isn't he? See, all your listeners started listening to me too. So so we crossed over.
You're welcome. You're so welcome.
You're so sexy, Mark.
Thank you. So your question was, what are some of the interesting subjects? I mean, they're very interesting. The one that I'm going to this week, it's called the World Regulatory Briefing. It's in Philadelphia, and this year, the entire subject. I know the primary topic of this two-day event will be interstate compacts, which is something that in online gambling tends to be primarily, with respect to online gambling, primarily a poker thing. I mean, there's like these big lotteries, there's like the big jackpots that people in gaming across the nation work on, and they work across state lines. But right now, poker liquidity, online poker liquidity is an important issue for America as the online gaming and online poker industry here evolves. So it's interesting that this group of people, you have regulators, you have operators, legislators, all will be getting together and discussing and trying to figure out this concept or how to go about this interstate pooling. So, and it's all effectively, it's all meant to ultimately benefit the poker players, try to provide a richer online poker playing experience for the players, and also obviously for the operators. They want to make sure that they're making enough money, that that they're collecting the proper revenue, that they're obviously huge things going like geolocation, huge issue, making sure that your players are legally within the boundaries of the state where it's legal to play. How do you broker these agreements? That's going to be really tough. Like, I think a lot of people in poker kind of taking it a bit for granted that there are going to be these interstate compacts because everybody wants them. But they're going to be tough. Like, states have very different demands. They have very different desires. Nobody really wants to share. It's extremely competitive. Nevada, extremely competitive market. New Jersey, extremely competitive market. So nobody really feels like doing that much to empower someone else first. They all want to empower their own gaming powers, their own casinos, et cetera, et cetera. So, but still, they recognize that this interstate complex thing is a real thing. It's worth studying. So that's going to be really cool. It's interesting to see how they're going to do it. And some states are just completely opposed to the idea. It's interesting. And I think the poker community should take note of this, because online poker is just so important. Online anything has just this enormous impact on real life, right, on the offline world. And poker as a whole, the poker culture as a whole, has definitely benefited from online poker taking on the form that it did in the last decade or so. So even brick and mortar poker, I mean, suddenly poker rooms were flooded by people. Well, some of them. Others never really had a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
But because people were playing online, they were getting more into it online. So the reformation of online poker in this country, I think, is going to be critical to just the broader poker world and the broader poker movement. So it's important to know, like, how are people engineering the resurgence of online poker? And you look at a state like Nevada, we have our governor, who's your governor too, by the way.
He is now.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to Nevada, Mark Hoke.
Yeah, F. Harry Reid. Let's throw that out.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Yeah, they're not nailing it yet. They're not nailing it yet. They're listening intently.
All right. I'm going to want the Casino Examiner counterpoints to everything that I'm saying. But we have Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval, who is very passionate, at least rhetorically, and I believe sincerely, he's into it. I mean, he understands that this is important for his platform. But he goes on TV, he does State of the State addresses. He says this is important, online gaming. We have to do it. We have to lead, and we have to do interstate compacts. Like he explicitly says, interstate compacts are important. They're trying to pass piece of legislation, which actually this month or the next they're going to have to pass or flunk, which basically gives the governor executive authority to sign the compacts.
Oh, wow.
So he's into it. And then you have a state like California, which is right next door. And
It's a mess.
yeah, well, it's not that it's a mess. I mean, it's a much bigger state. The gaming there is big. I mean, tribal gaming is really big. I'm not sure if we took all the tribal gaming in California and compared it to the Strip, I'm not really sure what that comparison would look like, but I do know that tribal gaming is huge nationwide, and also in California it's very powerful. And they have such a when I say they, I think the general culture of people there, of gaming powers there, who do want to get into online poker. They don't want to do compacts. They are steadfastly opposed. Steadfastly, I hope it's a proper conjugation of steadfast. They are staunchly, Mark Hoke, they are staunchly opposed to the idea, for now, to the idea of interstate compacts, because they think, probably not without good reason, that they're a big enough market to sustain themselves. California, they don't need to. And Nevada isn't like that. Nevada could use, some player pooling. California doesn't think they need that, so they don't want to do compacts. They don't want to do compacts. So that's just to give you an idea of how different positions they have. These two states that are right next to each other. We share many cultural characteristics. With California, the actual traffic, forget online traffic, like the actual. Have you ever tried? When is it really thick? Like Vegas, from Vegas to California, the highways on Sunday night, right? Extremely thick, because so many Californians drive to Las Vegas during the weekend, and then so there's so much traffic, there's so much convergence, and yet here online with online poker, there's going to be this, there's this agreement. But if you go to these events like the Philadelphia and all this stuff, you see so many speakers from so many different states. Like everyone's studying this, everyone's trying to figure out, how do we make this online gaming thing work? How do we make this online poker thing work? But everyone's looking out primarily, as people tend to do, for their own interests first. So players, if they want to be involved, if they want their voices heard, they should monitor this and, weigh in. Not in an obnoxious,
not
stupid.
an Occupy Wall Street kind of.
Not in an Occupy Wall. There's no need for that. I find that often these people, they would welcome some player insights. So if the players are able to, get together and assemble in an elegant and, firm and committed, but also an eloquent manner, I think they could do themselves a whole lot of good.
Yeah, and I think that poker players don't understand how splintered it really is out there. We see it. We just look at the federal legislation issues, for example. There's so many people out there fighting for their piece of the pie and trying to stop it. There's so many out there trying to get it rolling. I mean, the factions that are fighting.
Mm-hmm.
People just don't understand how many groups there are out there battling on both sides of this issue. I mean, it's very difficult to get a consensus when you have that much conflict going on.
Yeah, and I think this is America. I mean, and I don't say that disparagingly. Like, this country is really big. It's really big, it's really powerful, it's really rich, and like you have, in Europe it isn't like this. Now, Europe is a collection of countries, not one big country, but Europe doesn't have that big of a brick and mortar casino industry, not at all, which is why, online gaming there tends to maybe incur a different kind of opposition, maybe a little less opposition, but there's opposition there nonetheless. But in Italy, if you were to do online gaming, you really don't have to worry that much about the casino standing in your way, because we have 3, and one of them isn't even it's in Italy, but it's part of an enclave, a Swiss enclave, so it's not even ours. So whatever, right? In the United States, it's not like the United States is a huge country. There's casinos everywhere. There's racetracks, lotteries. Oh my God! I mean, all of these people who have an investment in gaming. And just are going to have an issue, are gonna when you lay something like online gaming on top of them. I mean, they're gonna be like, what the hell, what is this? Any business owner, it's funny, lately when I travel, I like to use Airbnb. You ever heard of that?
No, actually I haven't.
It's really cool. It's a way for people to basically rent out their homes or their rooms, or like rooms within a home. It's a lot more inexpensive than hotels. So, if you're going to be in a new city for 2 nights and you don't want to spend, especially in a city I wish I'd used this when I went to San Francisco, because it's really pricey there. New York's really pricey. Instead of spending $200, $300 a night, you look someone up and say, hey, you can stay in my room, not with me, but you can stay in a room in my house at the heart of the city for $50 a night. Great, I would go for that. So it's really challenging the hotel industry, because obviously the hotel industry is looking at this and being like, hey, what's going on? We want people to keep using our hotels. And actually, in some cities, I think New York City is one of them, they're waging a legal battle against this Airbnb service, saying you can't do this, it's illegal, you don't have a license, blah, 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 blah. So when you have these disruptive, I hate to overuse that word, but when you have these disruptive technologies like Airbnb, like online gaming, the traditional, usually the brick and mortar, or the established businesses are going to reject, are going to rebel. They're going to try to protect their profits, and destroy or impede the new competition. And because the United States is home to so many strong, established businesses in every field, hotels, casinos, technology even, which is usually the very innovative one. I mean, there's going to be a lot of resistance here in this country, I think, just because it's home to so many, large powers that have so much to lose if challenged.
You bet. Hey, we want to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back with Marco, as he brought up Europe and that WSOP Europe. Some people are getting a little fired up now about this bracelet thing.
Really? Oh, yeah, okay.
So let's take a quick break, and we're going to come right back with Marco. He is the man.
Thank you.
Everybody digs this dude. Well,
not everybody.
Not everybody.
Yeah, it's okay.
He's got pals.
Thank you. I've got a couple of pals.
All right, let's take a break.
Go to the break.
Yes, let's go to the break.
One man, his lucky shirt, an unforgettable night, and a winning streak that never seemed to end. That's how Blind Squirrel began, and we haven't looked back since. We make the clothes that we want to wear for the places where we want to look and feel our best. The game, the speakeasy, and the casino floor. Blind Squirrel's small batch, high-quality gear is for people too busy grabbing life by the nuts to bother with crappy, ill-fitting clothing. Because like you, we prefer our nights long, our drinks strong, and our lucky shirt to be our most comfortable. So look good, be lucky, and visit blindsquirrelapparel.com for your new favorite shirt. As an added bonus, you'll receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code HOKE, H-O-K-E. You can also pick up Blind Squirrel apparel at the Borgata in Atlantic City and in Las Vegas at all Missouri stores at Mandalay Bay, Monte Carlo, The Mirage, and MGM Grand. Look good and be lucky with Blind Squirrel apparel.
When it comes to custom poker tables, why would you buy something someone else designed and even named for their sales or marketing purposes?
The Nighthawk, the Gambler, the Big Slick, the Nuts.
Sure, you can customize it if you want, as long as you choose between black, red, or even green cloth, but that's about it. When you choose to play off tilt, it's not just another table, it's your table. The same price gets you a fully custom designed table that reflects your style and game. Off tilt makes it easy to design a truly one-of-a-kind custom poker table that'll give you home table advantage. Sure, Off Tilt could name their tables for marketing purposes, but why? It's not ours. We don't play on it. And to be honest, there are over 1,000 named Off Tilt tables worldwide, including the WSOP, the Deep Stacks Poker Tour, the Jonathan Papelbon, as well as Julie's, Chris's, Scott's, Amber's, Tristan's, just to name a few. So let us add your name to the list and deliver a truly custom-crafted, furniture-quality poker table worthy of your game. Visit www.offtiltpokertables.com or call Brian Knott today at 262-490-3812. We'll show you why Off Tilt is the only way to play.
Turn up the electricity on your computer by going to RogueWire.com. News, sports, current events, and the internet home of The Mark Hoke Show, plus much more. Like us on Facebook and follow RogueWire on Twitter to stay up to date and let the sparks fly off your screen. Check it out, RogueWire.com.
Want to be a millionaire? Then see if you can become fantasy sports royalty in the 2013 Fantasy Football Millionaire Grand Final at DraftKings.com. Play for free or in paid contests for real money, plus games last one day, so there's no long-term commitment. Thousands of winners have won over 10 million prizes on DraftKings.com, and now it's your turn to cash in. Go to DraftKings.com right now, enter the promo code HOKE, and get a 100% deposit bonus and a free entry into the Millionaire Grand Final qualifier. So don't wait. Crown yourself the king of fantasy sports at DraftKings.com. The heat is on. Whether you're in the hot seat of a major poker tournament or just dealing with everyday life, stay cool with a brand new Arctic Blue cooling towel. Just wet your reusable and durable Arctic Blue cooling towel in cold water and you'll have instant cooling relief at your fingertips for up to 5 hours. The towel is lightweight and pliable, so you can keep it handy no matter where you are. Plus, it's absorbent enough to make sure you and your clothes stay dry while you stay cool. No need to sweat it out no matter what you're doing when you have an Arctic Blue cooling towel handy. So get the same cooling towel used by professional athletes, poker players, first responders, physical therapists, U.S. automakers, and even reality TV stars. So what are you waiting for? Visit them today at ArcticBLU.com and pick yours up today. Plus, enter the discount code MarkHokeShow when you check out and get 15% off plus free shipping to keep some of your cold hard cash in your wallet. It's like the Arctic Blue Bear says, it's not cool to be hot. So pick up your Arctic Blue cooling towel today.
At Team Poker Joker, we build innovative, high-performance, poker-focused apparel designed to keep you cool and calm in tough situations. Wait, no we don't. We've just got a cool brand representing the suits of this beautiful game called poker. Our gear won't make you better, but it will keep a smile on your face. So don't be so serious and show you know how to have fun. Get your Poker Joker gear today at TeamPokerJoker.com. Grin and win today at TeamPokerJoker.com.
9 poker players on a dramatic path to glory with unbelievable twists and turns that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's the Final 9 comic from Room 110 Publishing. Go to final9comic.com to download the first issue preview and get ready for the official launch on October 21st, 2013. 9 will become 1 way or another. Final9comic.com. Now, let's return to the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, everybody, we are back. Marco's getting comfortable. This place is just awesome.
The masculine paradise. Poker, boxing, racing. Of course, Mark Hoke, you're a masculine icon. So, yeah, we're talking about Christina. It's quite remarkable that a woman's responsible for all this. I mean, not to be, not to make an inappropriate comment, which is not meant as that at all. It's
not what you would expect.
Tripping over my own words. Go. Let's get
It's
the
not
show.
what you would expect.
It's not what you would expect, right? I was expecting Barbies and ponies and stuff like that when I heard that a woman was responsible. But that just goes to show you what a monster I am.
Yeah, you're gonna get in trouble now.
Yep.
Yeah, but hey, and I gotta make sure I mention our friends at Arctic Blue Cooling Towels, by the way.
You forgot to mention our friends at Arctic Blue earlier when you were thanking the sponsors during the first round. What the hell is wrong with you?
You can get 15% off plus free shipping if you go to arcticblu.com. Get your Arctic Blue Cooling Towel today. It's not cool to be hot. Don't get attacked by the bear.
I think you should make it 18 at this point, just to atone for the mistake.
I can't. Well, they give me what they give me. Put in the code Mark Hoke Show when you sign out, and you will pick up
Arctic
that
Blue.
Great
what do they do again?
It's a cooling towel.
Cooling towel.
Yeah, you take it. It's a pliable, thin towel.
Yeah.
You put it in cold water. You run cold water over it, or you can actually run cold water, put it in the fridge, take it out. You bring it out a little bit, get the excess water out, and then you can carry it around. You can put it on the back of your neck, top of your head.
Wow.
It doesn't drip, and it stays cold for about 5 hours.
Wow.
It's really neat.
Sounds like it would be a great sexual toy.
It could.
Mm-hmm.
It could. I'd rather not get slapped by an Arctic Blue cooling towel.
All right.
That would be bad.
Now I know what Arctic Blue does.
There you go.
And what it could do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, the Arctic Blue Game of the Day on the KLAV show. Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Make sure you join us there. KLAV 1230am.com, or if you're in Las Vegas, just tune it in on your radio dial.
I was on it.
Yeah, we're going to get you on again soon.
All right.
We'll have you on longer.
Please.
Now, because I'm going to say this. I got to apologize to Marco. Because the last show we did...
You put me on with Raymond Davis. Yeah. That's all you got to apologize for.
I'm really sorry.
Please.
But, didn't give him enough mic time. So I changed the format. Because the first show we did, it was... You
it was fine. I loved it.
You put something on paper, and you say, damn, this looks good.
Yeah, you're right.
And then you execute.
Of course. It's always different.
Not so much. So second show? Perfect.
No, it was good.
Yeah. So
I liked it.
Yeah, so please join us. Tom McAvoy is going to be on there, and we're looking to add, we're going to be also talking to the poker room director of the Win.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be joining in on the show as well, and we're going to probably get one more guest on there. Marco and I are talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you tune in there Wednesday, 11 a.m. And, of course, go to our live stream page right here on RogueWire. You can see all the past shows. And I finally started up the YouTube channel as well.
Ah, good job.
So get on there and join us. Now, let's talk about Europe.
Okay.
I looked at the numbers for the WSOP Europe today.
Mm-hmm.
They're bad.
They're bad?
I hate to say it.
What's bad?
You had one tournament that was the re-entry tournament that drew about 600 entries.
Mm-hmm.
Every other tournament except for the main event was under 200.
Okay.
That's kind of light for a bracelet.
Well, historically, how do they compare? I don't know. I mean, I've never really followed the European WSOP that closely.
Yeah, it's pretty low. It's pretty low. But
are they low by 2012 standards as well?
I believe they are actually down a little bit. I can pull that up. I think I have that.
I mean, it's France, right? I mean, France isn't Vegas, obviously.
That is very true.
It's just harder to get to a casino. It's, I mean, I'm not sure, actually. I can only speculate about what the European poker playing habits are, but I can imagine they're probably much different from Americans, or at least, people who come to Las Vegas to play the actual World Series of Poker. I wouldn't be surprised if you have more Europeans playing the Vegas WSOP than the European WSOP.
I wouldn't be shocked either. I mean, well, look, just
depends, right?
Like I said, we just, I looked at the numbers. In one tournament at 600, everybody else under 200. Now, last year, I'm just looking at these real fast. Event 1 was 227 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to event number 2. That one drew 626 for
this year.
Limit Hold'em.
Oh, no,
this is last year.
Last year. Okay.
This is last year.
Okay.
PLO 97.
Yeah.
For event 3. No Limit Hold'em shootout was 141.
But you know what? I mean, if this weren't the World Series of Poker, if this were a little tournament series that took place at your local casino here in Vegas, same bind, same numbers, would it be better? Would it be okay? I mean,
you'd probably be okay with those numbers.
Right. It's a World Series, so people expect it to be exorbitant. But maybe it's just not meant to be in France.
And then,
maybe we should call it the World Series of Poker France, not Europe.
Something like that.
Okay.
And then you combine that with the Asia Pacific numbers, which were also, they had that eliminator tournament. They had 3 flights on that. That was 1,000, and then all the other events other than the main were very small too.
But it's the first year.
But now you're starting to get.
It's the first year.
Well, but I'm taking the whole picture. There's some bracelet resentment starting to build up a little bit. With some of the guys, and I had Lane Flack on the show, the KLAV show on Wednesday. Talking about that.
Okay, you know what? Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's look at pre-2003
Yeah.
World Series of Poker numbers. Let's compare them to these numbers you're just naming off. I mean, what kind of reasoning is that? So, we should discount those bracelets. See, this is what I was railing against the other day on Twitter, in part. But we should discount or undervalue bracelets that were acquired in smaller fields. Well, then that seems like it shuts out a lot of pre-2003 victories that are tallied. I mean, I think Phil Hellmuth has a few from before 2003.
He does.
Johnny Chan, Doyle, Ivy. Don't they all? Ivy, maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think what everybody's upset about, it's not necessarily because the numbers, because I think people understand that before 2003, 2004, those numbers were small. That's understandable. I think because you're comparing it to the current era, where you're looking at events that are in the WSOP, where players are coming to Vegas, and they're having to get through fields of thousands of players, and then you go to Europe and Asia, and these fields are under 200. And I don't want to dismiss anything that any of these guys have done. I mean, I'm thrilled to see Noah Schwartz with a bracelet. And Jeremy Osmus, who won bracelets over there. Jackie Glazier won the ladies event. That's fantastic. But I know that people are starting to feel like the modern era, the bracelets are now getting diluted a little bit.
Of course they are. But I think people should ask. Hold on, let me just.
Oh, he's going all Bruce Banner over here. I'm getting angry.
No, I'm not getting angry. I'm getting a little irritated, and I want to make sure I don't make a complete scene. No, I mean, this idea, Mark, of course they're getting, the more bracelets you give out, it's like inflation. The more you give out over time, the more the value of an individual one diminishes. And I'm talking perceived value. That's what annoys me about this whole bracelet debate. People are being way too subjective. They're talking about the dilution of the value of a bracelet as if it's something you can measure. And you just can't. You can knock yourself out as much as you'd like. Debating the prestige. Oh, this event matters more than the Australian one or the Europe. And that's fine. It's okay to have that debate, but don't take it too far. Don't make people feel bad for winning bracelets that they have every right to win in frickin' Ghana if they want to play there, if the series decides to. And also compare it, and this is also something I was talking about the other day, compare it to Caesar's interests in creating events around the bracelets. I mean, and there's kind of a dichotomy there because, they're supposed to protect this value, the brand. Yes, you're supposed to protect the brand of the bracelet, but you can't really leave that up to the whims and the uncoordinated opinions of all these poker players, all of whom say, oh, no, this is worth this. No, this is worth that. Like, people are going to, they're like what do they call them? The armchair quarterbacks. Like, people like to talk and debate and speculate and run their frickin' mouths. And still, Caesars has to put together poker tournaments. They have to put together these poker series that are meant primarily to be self-sustaining, to make some money. Otherwise, you can't run one in the first place, okay? See, there's this divide between economic self-interest, business self-interest, and this spiritual value of the bracelet and this spiritual commitment. Caesars must and should create as many poker events as they can. And if you're the World Series, you're dumb, you're being silly not to promote them with your flagship product, whether it's a bracelet or a ring, like to do the World Series of Poker, the circuits, you know. So there's got to be something there. There's got to be some kind of trophy there. And to me, it's much better, we were talking about the poker world, it's much, much better for poker that we offer as many events as possible, that we can tap into as many international markets as possible. To me, poker is successful when people come out to play it, they buy in, they have fun, they win money, they cash, they do it again the next year, they get some trophies. I mean, that activity, that activity, that concentration of poker, of enthusiastic and committed and thick and dense poker activity is far superior in material measurement, in material benefit to the poker world than this half-assed protection of the brand of the bracelet and these any kind of attempt, any kind of rationale that would actually deter the running of more poker events, whether they be bracelet events, WPTs, I don't care. Let there be as many poker events as possible. The bracelets are going to be fine, I think. Yes, they're diluting a little bit in value, but come on. You know, when you win a bracelet, it's a wonderful experience, but the money and the glory of victory should come ahead of the actual physical trophy, you know? I mean, to me, that's usually what it is. I mean, it's too much spiritual sentimentality is invested into this bracelet. And again, you gotta let go of that a little bit as poker matures, as more and more people play poker and they win bracelets. So I'm sorry if I'm being a little rambly, but you know, it just annoys me to see so many people neglect material benefits, material substance, you know, money, activity, tournaments, people being in jobs, dealers getting dealt, making tips, you know, cash games, the overflow, the outpour of the cash games, the floor being in work, the casino getting some action, people traveling, you know, all of these things that a poker tournament, that a good poker tournament with the allure of the bracelet can strive for. It annoys me to hear people advocate that should happen less so that we can preserve what is ultimately everyone's little individual subjective interpretation of what a bracelet means. So shut the hell up and play. Take it from a non-player, right?
Fair enough. What do you think needs to be done to get those numbers up? I mean, you know, I understand Asia Pacific starting off. You know, it's the first time. Yeah, but we've had a few WSOP Europes. What do you do to make those numbers rise? Because it seems stagnant at best. So how do you reach out to those players? I mean, you know, we do have WSOP.com, which I'm sure they're probably going to be pushing pretty hard, starting to run some satellites next time around.
Right.
But you know, what else do you do? Do you create a circuit? Do you
I don't
create
know.
a WSOP
I think,
circuit over there?
Maybe. Well, it'd be great to see something like that. And I think that what you need to do is you need to create a kind of like an autonomous or an individual or like a European series that's strong enough on its own merits, on its own terms, and not always comparing itself or measuring itself against the American one. If you could create that in Europe, then I think you would see better turnouts at the bracelet ones, at the if they created little circuit events in Europe, that would be great to see. And suddenly you have this, you know, international strength. Again, though, it makes me think of a little bit of 2+2, you know. And I see Kev Mathis in chat, and I say hello to him. And the reason I say 2+2 is because, like, the poker world has so, relatively speaking, it has so few options when it comes to something like, you know, this broad forms of expression like 2+2. They have so few options that they look at 2+2 as something that is like in the public domain or that is subject to, you know, majority opinion, like a government-funded or a government-run entity, right? That when people get banned from 2+2 or they get admonished, like I have been in the past.
You? No.
Absolutely.
No.
I was perma-banned from 2+2, and later that was reversed, thankfully. But people react with such indignation, like it's like their government fucked them, you know, like, oh my God, I got banned or admonished by 2+2. I'm taking this. There's got to be a course, and it's like it's a business. It's Mason Malmuth and Matt Sklansky, and they've got the publishing business, and then they've got the forum, and it's a privately run business, which as such I think already does a surprisingly good job being relatively open and permissive of some of the things that are said there. And it's the same with the World Series. You know, it's like this idea that the bracelet is this unaffiliated nonprofit item, that belongs to the. It's not. It's a product. It's a flagship product of a company called Caesars Interactive Entertainment that has, a number of business obligations. So, I don't know why they do it in France, honestly. Maybe it would be better to do it in another country where it was easier to travel, where people felt like traveling a bit more, where maybe the taxes weren't so hard. But maybe that's, I don't know the details here. Or maybe it's Caesars having done a deal with, I don't know what the name of the casino is over there, but maybe they did a deal with those guys. I know they have a deal with another French company called Barrier that might have something to do with that. I'm not sure. Maybe Kevmeth knows a bit more about it. But, and it's going to be tough when you're in business, it's going to be a little tough to get yourself out of these commitments. So what could they do to boost those numbers? Again, we're talking about a business. We're not talking about some government entity that we're all going to, do a referendum for and vote. And, there's going to be a period of public opinion. I mean, they could do that, but they won't. It's a business. So you have to look at Caesars and say, what are they doing? And, I don't know. I haven't followed the management of the WSOPE that closely, so I can't really point things out. I think geography is a big deal. And it's like that in Vegas as well. I mean, it's the world's, I've talked to some Caesars people over the years, and they've probably told this to more people than I, but they said, we know that players have often said, why the Rio? The Rio isn't necessarily the showiest, the most glamorous of the Caesars properties. I mean, there's the Caesars Palace, which is like this really nice property. It's more recognizable, but these are all strip properties, right? And the Rio is a bit more. It's not far from the strip, but it's more off strip. And if you've been to the World Series, which I know you have, that parking is a pain in the ass. Road congestion is a pain in the ass. Imagine having something like that on the strip, right? That would be terrible. Yeah. So it actually makes sense all of a sudden to have it at the Rio, which is, just a bit more detached, not so far that it's it's like this frickin' place, which is barely in Vegas. But it's, with all due respect, yeah, I spent a lot of time driving over. But you understand. But with reference to that, I mean, this place is a speedway, right? So it needs that space. So it's a good thing that it's here where it can enjoy all that space. And I'm thankful. I'm not knocking the house here. So I mean, that could be one of them. Those are more like practical things, physical things. As far as the broader poker culture, I certainly think poker on TV can help. Poker on mainstream media, poker online. Certainly, these are things that can help. I wish people were just a bit more positive about poker. I think it's everyone in poker, in the poker community now, always talks about poker as, well, not everyone, but a lot of people talk about it as if poker's about to die, and we take ourselves way, and with the bracelet thing too, bracelets have never meant so little now that I'm alive and playing for World Series of Poker bracelets. We overvalue our own importance as a generation way too much. A generation from now, hopefully, I mean, the WSOP has survived, I would say more than one generation. A generation from now, in the 2050s, I think, I'm very optimistic, I could be wrong, but I'm fairly optimistic that in some form or another, if the WSOP continues to do a good job running itself as a company, people will still be playing for bracelets. They're still going to think bracelets are meaningful, and they're still going to have that debate about, oh my God, we've given out close to 1 million by now. It's the value, and they're still going to do it. And poker is the same way. People have been playing poker for centuries, if not longer. Poker I think, it's going to take more than just, minute shifts in like this city or that city or this country for poker to have to suffer some long-term devastation. Poker is going to do fine. It's going to be played by a lot of people long after we're gone, and I wish people were a bit more positive about that, and they understood that poker's not going to die with us. I think poker's got a lot of great years ahead of it. And, just think of ways to benefit poker, the poker community, the poker culture. Some things get a little bit more. I think they can get a bit more academic. Like lately, I'm taking a closer interest, in poker ecology, which is very interesting. At what point, in the online poker room managers study this very closely and live as well, I guess. So, at what point, to what degree can you have a lot of people who are good and winning and taking money away from people who are not as good? What do you do to make sure that lesser players can play for a long time and feel good about it? So you take someone like me, for instance, we were talking about this earlier. I mean, I'm unlikely to ever commit to poker as like a full-time career, but, I would play. I still play recreationally from time to time. I'd play a low-limit cash game or a tournament once in a while because I enjoy it, and there are things about it that I continue to enjoy, even though I know that I can be an underdog, et cetera, et cetera. But I would still play it. I would still, lend myself to that player pool. And I think there are a lot of people like that. And it's just, to try and answer your question, I think it's a broad study of a lot of things that determine whether people are going to keep playing poker, where they play it, how they play it, for how long, at what stakes, et cetera, et cetera. And then, no single thing, short of like, an extremely awful federal ban or something of live poker. But no one thing is going to just devastate poker to the point where it's unrecognized. So this idea, you have to be nice to the fish. People who are mean are destroying the game. No one is destroying the game, okay? People are being dicks at the table. People are being dicks everywhere. Yeah. People are assholes a lot. It's not like being an unpleasant person is this malaise that's, particular to poker. And that we must take upon ourselves, Mark Hoke, to make people into better persons. It
is what it is.
Yeah. So, what could they do? A lot of things. It's up to them. But if I lent them my advice, I'd be helping their business. They should employ me as like a consultant, at least for that shit.
One thing, when you started that question off, one thing came to my mind on the business side of it. You almost think of those international WSOP events as almost a loss leader event to try and draw people into the World Series family. So, they get into the brand. They enjoyed it, and then they all come out to Vegas. I think you said to me you said to me earlier, it wouldn't surprise me more Europeans were coming over here to play than they were playing in that event. So maybe the overall strategy, these is just get some more people involved, get them a taste of it, and then it becomes worth it.
Okay, so maybe we're losing a bit here in Europe, but if that loss there was responsible for more growth and more participation here in the United States, then maybe it's worth it to them. So I think that's an excellent point. And that's definitely something to take into account. So you see how people have to be more dynamic when they assess and not be so quick to judge. Just think about it a bit more. Don't spout your mouth off like I'm doing at this very second.
That's okay.
Take your time and just kind of, and then, So, but anyway.
Poker Hall of Fame came out. We have our inductees.
Mm-hmm.
Tom McAvoy and Scotty Wynn finally made it. I'm calling it the It's About Time Baby class of 2013. Your reaction to Tom and Scotty getting in?
I've never met McAvoy. I've met Wynn, but talked to him very seldom. I don't know the individuals that well. At the risk of saying something a bit unpleasant here, again, I preface this by saying I don't know these gentlemen. They could be fine individuals. I don't know. But McAvoy, last I heard of him, I was watching Ultimate Beat, and he came up. And it's like, okay, well. But I'm not saying he had anything to do with that. But just, so I don't really, I know he's written books. I think I've read one or two maybe. But Scotty Wynn, I've heard a lot of tales. And again, it's I should watch myself here because tales can be horrible. And rumors and things that people share about people, just can be very extremely untrue and harmful to the person. But never mind all that. And so in this, so Scotty Wynn, I mean, seems like a very fun guy, but just gets drunk a lot apparently. Apparently he's been very abusive. I think I was reading Madison's book or something. I mean, again, I don't know how I can back this up, but just like, if someone like Scotty were in fact guilty of things that probably plague a lot of poker players, poor bankroll management, being, and maybe just having some, substance abuse. I don't think these are things that should disqualify you from entering into the Hall of Fame. If you're balancing them with, a contribution to the community, or I guess my point, and again, I hate to be throwing someone like Scotty under the bus here, but if you're a fuck up, you better make sure that you've balanced that for the good of poker. And because I'd hate to see the Poker Hall of Fame, ultimately as time goes by, certain poker players, they become these caricatures. They become these, very recognizable, almost these pillars of poker. But pillars just because they're recognizable. They've been around for a long time, and we enjoy, in the case of Scotty, like making fun of the guy once in a while. And I'd hate to think that there's some kind of a sense of obligation that it's like, oh, well, they've been around for so long, as people age, supposedly they assume respectability, which is nonsense. I mean, it's not the case in every case. Sometimes people just become bitter, useless old men. But people think that the older you get, the more iconic you get. And so I'd hate to see the Hall of Fame be a way to reward that, because I think it just cheapens the Hall of Fame. And again, subjective to the max. Like, what's it mean to be the Hall of Fame? I think being in the Hall of Fame, is extremely beneficial to someone who's inducted into it. Because you can tell people, like, it can be especially useful, I was thinking, to kind of maybe build some bridges between poker and things that are outside of poker. And I think Nolan Dalla is an exceptional person to have in poker. Was he inducted in the Hall of Fame?
No, I don't think.
Well, one day he should be.
Yeah, that's funny. His name never comes up.
Well, he's a very elegant person. Hardworking, has occupied a lot of diverse positions in poker. He's played, he's written, he's been a counselor, and just really a really presentable and smart person who has really done a lot for poker, a lot of good things for poker that I can actually point to and say, he wasn't just there to play and try to win and take people's money. He's done his shit. He's done his part for the community. I don't know to what degree I can say that for somebody like Scotty. Maybe he has done that stuff, but nothing really sticks out other than a guy who seems to dress in the same clothes all the time, wears these, caricaturish sunglasses, and drinks a lot. And again, it sounds like I'm knocking Scotty, and I probably am, despite not wanting to. But that's not what I wish to say. What I wish to say is, someone like Nolan Dalla, when he goes on these ambassadorial missions, so to speak, to engage people, especially now that he's got a television program, a new poker TV program, he's trying to talk to people outside of poker. People would be impressed if they heard, like, oh, well, we don't know much about this person, but shit, Poker Hall of Fame. Hey, Hall of Fames are respectable affairs. This person is in it. Let's listen to what this person has to say. I mean, I'd love to be in the Poker Hall of Fame so that I could go just get more meetings with people. Say, hey, I'm a Poker Hall of Famer. You better listen to what I have to say.
Marco and Mark for 2014.
Right, exactly. Very good. So it's not as if, yes, it's subjective, but it does have like a material benefit, as probably a bracelet does too. Hey, I'm a bracelet winner. Okay, so suddenly you listen up. So that's what I'm saying. But again, and now it will sound like I'm the one who's taking on the whole cheapening bullshit, which I'm not. I'm not being fanatical to this cheapening school of thought. But, I think something like the Hall of Fame is empowered the more it actually includes people who have a very, very provable contribution, a strong, unique contribution. I don't think it's enough to just be someone who has spent numerous decades playing poker, because then we could put in everyone at my local poker room.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You got to have done something good for poker that wasn't just being on TV and being some kind of ass clown. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, and I can, honestly, I've had a lot more interactions with Scotty than you. I mean, just so you guys know, I mean, I've met Scotty quite a few times. Mm-hmm. I don't have his phone number, which is unbelievable. But, but he's a really. He realizes that he's made some mistakes in the past.
Okay.
But there's deep
good
down,
for him.
Pretty good guy. I mean,
for sure.
I had an interview with him, and I'll tell you, he broke my heart when I had an interview with him about a year ago, and I was talking to him about what happened. What happened at the horse tournament. That he actually his family watched that video one time. Mm-hmm. They've never watched it again, and he hid the bracelet. He's got it tucked away in a safe. He won't look at it because he was that ashamed of what he did. Mm. And of course, then when he won the main event, his brother died in that in that car crash. He put that bracelet away too.
Yeah.
I mean, and I just listening to everything that he's gone through, I felt like here's a guy who had two of the biggest successes on the table and can't enjoy them. and realizes that, and it's one for what he did and one he had no control over, but it was pretty gut wrenching to hear the sincerity from him about that. So I'm willing to give Scotty a little bit of a pass on some stuff because I think he understands.
That's fine, but should he be in the Poker Hall of Fame because his brother died?
Well, I think Scotty's been out there, as a pretty good ambassador too. I think a lot of people got involved in poker because of Scotty.
Maybe he has. Well, perhaps. Again, I hate to think that I came across as if I was knocking him. I know I kind of made him an example, but
you're presenting a point. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that are championship poker players that are scumbags.
I could not name 5 people who are in the Poker Hall of Fame. I think Seidel, because I was in poker when he actually received it. There's a character. Seidel, these 2 guys you just told me about. I can't think of anyone else who's in the Poker Hall. I assume Stu Unger is in it. I don't know. So, I'm not the best person to ask for the Poker Hall of Fame. Oh, Mike Sexton, I think, is in the...
Yes.
Yeah, okay, got it. So, yeah, and I think he is also someone who was inducted when I was in the poker world. If it happened before 2010 in poker, I'm likely not aware.
Done. See ya. It didn't exist.
There you
it's
go.
Like, it's before Marco and after.
Yeah, 2010, it's almost like its own boom. It's almost its own moneymaker era because that's when I got into poker. So.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
Right.
Well, now, Marco, you're going out to Philadelphia coming up here for a conference. What else do you have going on? What can we look forward to seeing you doing here?
Well, I mean, a lot of people have been curious about me on Quad Jacks lately, and they should be because a lot of my stuff hasn't been up on there lately, and I left Quad Jacks originally in January of this year. Then I was away from it for a few months. Then I came back and I resumed control of it. Now, a new group of people, a new team of people came with me, and we acquired the Quad Jacks assets, and we started, we relaunched it. I was at the World Series. I saw you. And that went on for a while. And then quite a little bit recently, I'm going to say about a month or so, I parted ways formally with this new group of people that's now running Quad Jacks. And the reason for that is I'm really aspire to be... I'm valuing my independence a lot more in the poker world and in the gaming world right now. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that, if I want to go to a place like Philadelphia and learn the stuff I was telling you about earlier, I want to do that. And it's easier to do that when you're by yourself than it is when you're working with like a larger group of people, exactly. as I was doing earlier. And when you're working with a larger group of people, when you're part of a company, it's, you have certain obligations to that company. Which is completely fine and it's completely fair. And eventually it became clear that those obligations to the new Quad Jacks would not be compatible with what were my still very strong desires and ambitions within this field, within this industry. Like I was telling you earlier, I don't feel disconnected from poker. In fact, I think I feel more connected to it than I've ever been because I'm looking at it. I'm trying to take a broader view of it.
Right.
Again, there are some things. If a poker player came to me and said, Marco, if they said Marco, shut up completely, I'd say get lost. But if they said Marco, I as a player, I disagree with you on the bracelet thing, and here's my perspective as someone who's won bracelets or travels the world playing in tournaments to get bracelets, I would be completely receptive to that. And I'd be like, that's fine. You have the perspective of a poker player. So that kind of perspective I just can't emulate. But I like to learn about it. I like to hear about it. And I like to make educated judgments about what I think is good for poker, for the poker community, for the poker pro versus the poker recreational player, et cetera, et cetera. I enjoy right now watching this and comparing it to what's happening with the broader online gaming industry. Because that will definitely have an impact on the poker community. I mean, one thing I keep promising myself I'll write a blog about this, and I will, a blog post. But one thing I'm very interested in is that I believe strongly in the future of poker sponsorships. A lot of people say, oh, they're done, they're past us. Maybe they are in the way that like Full Tilt Poker used to do them,
right.
Where it's like you be a Red Pro, you're set for life. That won't be the case for a while. But you look at Ultimate Poker. I mean, they signed a lot of people. WSOP isn't, but I don't know. Maybe they're just not doing it for the time being. But even if they just don't want to do it, I mean, not a week goes by that I don't read about someone being made use. I mean, Ivy Poker, huge sponsorship. Trove. That's the word I was looking
Trove. That's good.
for some reason. Like a treasure trove, right? A sponsor trove. Ace Play here in Nevada, here in Vegas, signed Christina Lindley. Phil Ivey got signed. He's going to be an ambassador for the Palace in California, supposedly. Who else? There was someone else. Andy Frankenberger, Live Ace. That's a subscription site. I think there's so many opportunities for poker players to be associated with good companies, with good sites. And even if these sites can't pay you a fortune to be associated, I still think it's worth having that affiliation. It's worth working with other people in gaming. It's just worth it to expand your network and becoming, and kind of, you know, you look at Phil Hellmuth, and Phil Hellmuth takes a lot of crap, but I was just at G2E, which is the Global Gaming Expo, and I think I saw you there, by the way, and I never got a chance to ask you, because I was in a rush, but I never got a chance to, what, were you there? Did you like it? What did you think?
It was awesome.
Did you see the Phil Hellmuth slot?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So Phil Hellmuth has a slot. No, but listen.
Yeah,
like,
but still.
It's a heads-up poker machine, and it's him and Johnny Chan. Look, somebody made a lot of money from that deal.
You bet.
And Phil probably made money lending his likeness. Your thing just went dark there. We're good? Okay.
Yeah, we're good. Yep.
Phil just made a lot of money by lending his likeness to this heads-up poker machine. I mean, to me, that's a good thing. It's a good thing for a poker player to cultivate and to develop a likeness or a brand that they can then bank on if they want to. Yeah, you want my likeness? You know, let's do a deal here. Let's do a speakership there. I think there's so many opportunities for poker players right now. And it's good to see, and they're the result of what's happening with the resurgence of online poker. So like Ultimate Poker being allowed to launch in Nevada means that 12 of these kids, 11 since I think Dorfman resigned, but Marchese went back, came in there recently. But, you know, now they have, you know, they have these good deals. They're hanging out at these station casinos. They're going to get some exposure. You know, Somerville does a good show. Run It Up. Antonio is, you know, relevant again shortly after his one-drop win. So there's a future there. There's such a great future. But getting back to Quad Jacks. So when Quad Jacks started, you know, when I first got, I mean, Quad Jacks was like meant to be all poker. Look at some of my earliest stuff. You know, there was less of a this was 2010, pre-Black Friday. There was less of a broader, you know, macro view of the gaming industry. And, you know, as I got older and as I developed and matured in this industry, I began being more curious about that. And, you know, Quad Jacks is what it is. It's something that, you know, in many respects, in many ways, I try to diversify a bit. And, you know, I did what I thought was good. There's people there. You know, Kaufman is still there. Toby Block's still there. They're going to, I think they're going to keep it more grounded to where it needs to be, where it should be, which is mainly poker with some, you know, with some overtones of the broader iGaming industry. But it didn't seem like I was going to be able to meet all of my obligations there. So now I'm just kind of doing my own thing.
Well, you know, I appreciate you doing your own thing on my shows.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously, Marco, it's always a pleasure to have you on. I greatly appreciate it. You know, I know a lot of people really like listening to you out there, and you know, we got to keep doing some work together, man. It's fun. I always have a great time with you.
All this stuff I just said, you know, I was weeks ago. I was putting together my statement, saying what I just said about Michael Jackson. I couldn't figure out. That was just before I had to go to Barcelona. So I was like, fuck, I'm tired. I want to go to bed, so I didn't do it. So maybe I'll. Can I take this clip, the clip of me,
sure,
and I'll put it on my blog, be like, this is a situation. Like, people keep asking me, and I don't know what to tell them, and it's tough because like the last time I was formally separated from contracts, it was a big deal. I mean, people like there was this outpour support, which I really enjoyed. I really appreciated, and I didn't feel like doing that again so soon after my second departure. And so, you know.
It is what it is. Welcome to Poker Media Kids.
I'm a poker media kid. You've described me extremely accurately. I'm a poker media kid. I'm a kid, you know. I'm doing kid stuff.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, Marco, have a safe trip to Philadelphia,
Thank you.
friend.
Hey, I wanted to. No, I'll let you talk to. I'm gonna excuse myself, and I'm gonna let Kev Math have his own segment because I can tell you're.
Well, I thought you wanted to go, but you can stay. I just have to find you some headphones and stuff, but we can get you set up.
No, how about this? How about you interview Kev Math, you listen to what he says, and then without hearing you guys, I'll just interrupt or I'll come in with random things. Like, hey, Kev Math, tell us about that time that we... Love Kev Math. Kev Math is cool.
He's a
See,
great
how
guy.
about this? Nah, forget it.
We'll figure something out.
No, I was gonna.
We'll figure something.
I was
See,
gonna-
I know you don't want to go. You have too much.
I was gonna
we're
leave.
We're good on the show.
I was gonna leave a message for you to relay to Kev Math on my behalf, but not going there.
All
Not
right.
doing it.
Fair enough.
Okay. I'm gonna excuse myself because I also got to get ready for my trip. But
Okay. Marco,
Okay.
safe travels, my friend.
thank you very much, and thanks so much for having me, and thank you to the listeners, and thank you to Kev Math for tuning in.
All right, buddy.
Okay.
Safe travels, my friend.
Yep.
Enjoy yourself. We'll get a report for you when you come back from Philadelphia. I expect a 4-page.
It'll be interesting.
Double
No, for sure.
spaced.
Okay, no,
No?
not
No.
doing that. Well, I'll write something about it, but it's interesting. Yeah, again, it's something to for poker players. They don't have to go and like obviously follow the whole thing. I mean, they're good right where they are playing, but you know,
Keep up.
Sometimes, and hopefully I can be someone who can help in summarizing some of this stuff and breaking it down in terms that the poker community can understand.
Sounds good.
Hopefully, I'll try. You know, I can't promise.
You got it.
Okay.
We're all good.
All right.
All right. Well, let's take a break, and we are going to come back with Kevin Mathers on the line. Always good to talk to him. Marco, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
right.
Have a good show.
I will. Always do. Hey, you're here. It helps. All right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Poker is more fun when you win. Most poker books are too theoretical. They tell you to be more aggressive, but give few practical examples. Poker Plays You Can Use by Doug Hull, edited by Ed Miller, has 49 concepts with multiple, clear examples from real, live 1-2 through 5-10 games. Each hand is visually represented, explaining which players are vulnerable to these moves. Use discount code KLAV at 3barrelbluff.com to get 25% off your copy. Paper and ebook available.
At Team Poker Joker, we build innovative, high-performance, poker-focused apparel designed to keep you cool and calm in tough situations. Wait, no we don't. We've just got a cool brand representing the suits of this beautiful game called poker. Our gear won't make you better, but it will keep a smile on your face. So don't be so serious and show you know how to have fun. Get your Poker Joker gear today at TeamPokerJoker.com. Grin and win today at TeamPokerJoker.com.
9 poker players on a dramatic path to glory with unbelievable twists and turns that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's the Final 9 comic from Room 110 Publishing. Go to final9comic.com to download the first issue preview and get ready for the official launch on October 21st, 2013. 9 will become 1 way or another. Final9comic.com.
One man, his lucky shirt, an unforgettable night, and a winning streak that never seemed to end. That's how Blind Squirrel began, and we haven't looked back since. We make the clothes that we want to wear for the places where we want to look and feel our best. The game, the speakeasy, and the casino floor. Blind Squirrel's small batch, high-quality gear is for people too busy grabbing life by the nuts to bother with crappy, ill-fitting clothing. Because like you, we prefer our nights long, our drinks strong, and our lucky shirt to be our most comfortable. So look good, be lucky, and visit BlindSquirrelApparel.com for your new favorite shirt. As an added bonus, you'll receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code HOKE, H-O-K-E. You can also pick up Blind Squirrel apparel at the Borgata in Atlantic City and in Las Vegas at all Masura stores at Mandalay Bay, Monte Carlo, The Mirage, and MGM Grand. Look good and be lucky with Blind Squirrel Apparel.
Turn up the electricity on your computer by going to RogueWire.com. News, sports, current events, and the internet home of The Mark Hoke Show, plus much more. Like us on Facebook and follow RogueWire on Twitter to stay up to date and let the sparks fly off your screen. Check it out, RogueWire.com.
Your business and promotion will only go as far as your website will take you. That's why the Mark Hoke Show has only trusted one name for over 2 years, BlueRail.net. Whether you need custom website design and development packages or simply need a host for your website, Blue Rail is the only developer to turn to. It's time to discover the world-class personalized service only the Blue Rail team can provide. Visit us at BlueRail.net and call 520-822-5128 right now for your free consultation today. So get on board at BlueRail.net. How far do you want to go?
Last summer, I was at the World Series of Poker every day and couldn't walk 2 steps without seeing someone wearing 3Bet clothing. It's super comfortable and stylish, and all their stuff looks amazing. The incredible team of pros who wear 3Bet hats, hoodies, tees, and more are a who's who in poker. All-time greats like Jonathan Little, Doc Sands, Brian Rast, Jason Kuhn, Scott Clements, Greg Mueller, Ben Tollerine, Jeff Gross, and of course, Antonio Esfandiari, all proudly wearing the 3Bet brand. They wear 3Bet clothing because they know that being comfortable and feeling confident is crucial to winning on and off the tables. 3Bet.com has shipped thousands of orders worldwide, and it's time for you to join the 3Bet team just like the pros. Go to the number 3bet.com and receive an added bonus of 15% off with the promo code RADIO. Make that right call. Look and feel like a pro at 3bet.com.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, everybody, we are back here on Mark Hoke Show. Thanks for joining us, even if I can't say the name of my show, which is the Mark Hoke Show. Name show. Not that difficult. It is on a Sunday night. You guys, you got to know what my schedule is like on Sunday. It is brutal because I work from like 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. out here for my job, and then go home and get all the show stuff ready. I actually got to watch a little bit of that Eagles debacle today. Not surprised, but that's okay. I'm a little chilled out on the Eagles for 1 year. Next year, Chip Kelly better have the boys rolling. Hey, a couple things I want to remind you about before we get Kevin Mathers on the show. Go to DraftKings.com, all right? And I'm going to tell you what, you are going to make me very happy if you guys sign up for DraftKings right now because you're going to get an entry into a Millionaire Maker qualifier on there, plus 100% deposit bonus. So even if you put $5 on, just use the promo code HOKE. If you could go sign up today, I'd greatly appreciate it. And like I said, just throw whatever you want on there. But it's daily fantasy sports, so you don't have to do make a season-long commitment or anything like that. Just hop on and play a couple events. Have a good time with it. So check it out, DraftKings.com. Also, hey, pick up a copy of Poker Plays You Can Use. Great book by Doug Hull. Make sure you check that out at 3barrelbluff.com. That's right, 3barrelbluff.com. Put in the code KLAV, and you are going to get a great book for 25% off. How can I do better than 25% off other than free? All right, so make sure you get on over there and say hi to the kids at Poker Plays You Can Use. Also, one more other mention that I want to make sure I get in tonight, and that, of course, just a reminder again, Final 9 Comic. Guys, follow him on Twitter, and that will take you like 2 seconds to do that. Final, the number 9 Comic. All right? So do that right now. Go to Twitter and give him follow. Say hi for the Mark Hoke Show. Also follow him on Facebook, Final 9 Comic. And, of course, sign up for the free download. You got a preview of Issue 1. Issue 2 is going to be coming out very shortly. It's going to be a great time. I got to go through that first issue, and I tell you what, the twists and turns that are coming in that book, it's going to be a fun read, so make sure you check it out. Final9comic.com. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot one more thing, too. Make sure you guys, Nevada Poker League, hey, if you're in Nevada, and even if you're just stopping by, go to NevadaPokerLeague.com and get in on the free events. It is just something else. I really enjoy it. Great people, free poker, at some of the best places you can eat and hang out in Las Vegas. So go to NevadaPokerLeague.com. All right. I'm way behind with Kevin. I apologize. I should have known that was coming. I put Marco and Kevin Mathers on the same show. I don't know what I was thinking, but here he is. Kevin Mathers, everybody. Kevin, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Man, it is great to have you back on the show.
It's nice to be back. I have been watching tonight, so I appreciate the kind words that Marco said. And I hope maybe he did leave a message for me. I don't know.
I don't know.
Did they give you a message?
No, he didn't. He just it might have been screw you. I don't know, but
well, I don't think it would be that.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I don't think so either. I'm even going to put Kevin's picture up here on the screen so everybody knows Kevin Mathers is on the show.
Oh boy.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, that guy.
I have another one for later, but of course Kevin is the yes, I have a surprise for Kevin. The of course the information director for Bluff Magazine, so make sure you guys check out bluffmagazine.com. Kevin, what's going on, man? You've been all over the place.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I was obviously I was in Vegas for WSOP, and I was up in Minnesota a few weeks ago. I had a fun time there. And, you know, just out and about around the poker community. So not as well traveled as you, obviously, but I try to do my part.
Well, I'm settled in here in Las Vegas now. I'm very comfortable.
Yeah, I can tell. You got that that ring set up. You know, you can kick some poker butt if need be, I guess, right?
I could try anyway. But yeah,
because you should have fought Marco over that bracelet thing.
Oh, that is such an interesting topic right now, and I'm getting that's a pretty good lead in to talk about the World Series of Poker Europe, and we'll get into the bracelet conversation in a second. But it's great to see some of these guys winning bracelets. I mean, starting with that story, you got two of the nicest guys in poker, Noah Schwartz and Jeremy Osmus, winning over there. Jackie Glazier winning her bracelet too. When you take that part of it, it's been pretty exciting over there.
Yes, it definitely has. It's definitely nice to see some well-known players, step up and win a bracelet in Paris. And I think it was sort of and like you say, we had Eric Seidel almost won his 9th bracelet. We've had a lot of close calls as well. Ludovic Lacaille almost adding another bracelet. Certainly the cream has risen to the top for the most part during this World Series of Poker Europe. But I mean, I think the controversy that you're stating, regarding the value of the bracelets, I guess you could say it sort of started when Jackie Glazier won her bracelet in the Lays event.
Right. And, I believe it was 81 players, if I'm correct? I think it was 81.
I think it was less than that. I think it was like 65.
Yeah, I'll pull the number here for you real quick. I think I've got it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I apologize. 65, you're correct.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, this was sort of a late-minute addition to the schedule. It wasn't the first event was going to be the reentry event, and then they decided they were going to have a Lays event. And they had last year in Cannes, they had a Lays event, 500 euros, and they got the same number of players that they got this year for a 1,000 euro event with a bracelet. So it may not have been the greatest decision to have a Lays event be a bracelet event. Especially since we've sort of seen the controversy rear its head again about the value of bracelets held outside of Las Vegas.
Yeah, I had, like I said, I had Lane Flack on my show on KLAV on Wednesday, and there's definitely starting to have some sort of, a little bit of resentment out there that these guys are winning bracelets in such small events in this modern era. How do you feel about that? I mean, Lane suggested make them crowns or something else, but don't make them bracelets. But and Marco had a very valid argument too. I mean, how do you feel about that right now?
Well, I mean, it's basically up to the World Series of Poker themselves to decide what's a bracelet event. And, if they want to make these events bracelet events, that's certainly their prerogative. I mean, I definitely disagree about, creating trophies or crowns or whatever. It's sort of, whatever the WSP decides, that's what should be a bracelet event. Has the field sizes not been at the standards that people would expect? Yeah, it's definitely not been, I mean, like Phil Ivey's bracelet they won in Australia this year was less than 90 players. And I mean, people were sort of upset about that. It's sort of annoying, I think. I think you sort of like this is the World Series of Poker. Daniel Grau pretty much put when he gave his thoughts about it. It's a World Series of Poker. It's not the United States Series of Poker. It's not the Las Vegas Series of Poker. It's the world. We need to. The one way to help build poker is to expand its reach around the world, and having events in Europe, having events in Australia. That's a way to build the brand. And I'm I mean, we don't want hundreds of bracelet events, obviously, but if you get, it's only there's 7 events, 8 events in Paris this year. We have 5. I think it was 5 events in Australia. We'll probably see similar numbers in the coming years. I don't think that's incredibly terrible.
Well, what do you think could be done to get those numbers up? I know, in the chat box you said something about it won't be in Paris again. Is just finding the right site going to be the key to pull this in? But, what do we need to do to get more players in these events?
Yeah, I mean, basically, Ty Stewart did an interview with Bluff last week, and basically just said, without saying it, that the World Series of Poker will not be in France next year. Basically, this was the 3rd year that Barrier Poker had a deal that would basically hold the World Series of Poker Europe, and that runs out this year, obviously. And I mean, it doesn't help when the site that sponsors that's basically supposed to get players into these WSOP Europe events shuts down. And I mean, it's basically because of Barrier Poker shut their online poker room because basically the tax situation in France is very ridiculous, is very harsh, and it's basically very hard to sustain sustain a poker business in the country. So, I mean, basically the options that we could see for next year, it's probably going to be either in Spain, probably Barcelona. Maybe it'll be in Germany. Maybe it'll return to London. We don't. It's really up in the air. But it's definitely not going to be in France. It basically just said, unless they're like incredible crowds, which there obviously wasn't, like you mentioned earlier in the show. This is the only other, besides the 1K reentry, this is the only event, the main event, that's drawing more than 200 players, and that's definitely the numbers they were not hoping for numbers like this, obviously.
Well, and I think that to a point too, though, why it may be like I had the suggestion with being a loss leader, but you also have to start making money with this at some point, unless their feeling is it doesn't matter how many players we get over there, as long as we're drawing some new faces in, we're getting them on the website, and we're getting them over to Las Vegas when the World Series comes. It doesn't matter to us. I mean, I hate to say it, but do you think that might be the attitude with these guys right now?
Considering how much in debt Caesars is at this point, which is about over $20 billion, I don't think they really want this to be a loss leader. And I mean, they definitely want to get much better numbers outside of Las Vegas for their events. We've seen some pretty huge numbers in Barcelona for the EPT event earlier last month, and I just think we're going to have to see some sort of change. I mean, hopefully maybe hopefully get a partner with someone like 888 in Spain to help draw people in, basically through online satellites, and with the WSP.com site in Florida, and not in Florida, Nevada and New Jersey coming up, sort of help, offering online satellites to help bring a few more people into these events outside the United States would definitely be very beneficial to Caesars at this point.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a huge key, is getting online satellites back and going here, especially in the United States. For obviously the chance to hop into a $10 or $15 satellite to go to Europe, not bad.
Yeah.
I'm sure people wouldn't mind doing that. The one thing that I hope turns out okay on that is, of course, we're not seeing massive numbers coming up on either of these sites. I can't remember the last ones I looked at a few weeks ago, but it wasn't a ton of players that they're averaging at a time. But still, the opportunity is going to be there to play, and just like to see a little more growth.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight. Obviously, it's going to take some time. I mean, it didn't help that WSOP didn't launch during the series of Vegas, it definitely would have helped numbers. At least get some liquidity going for all the players that were had shown up in Vegas that could play online if they busted out of a tournament. You expect for 2014 that the numbers will be much improved. Then you have more sites out there besides WSP.com and Ultimate Poker that will be in the mix as well. And the more sites out there, the better it'll be for everyone. Because it'll basically increase competition, and you're going to see more more players, more liquidity. It's going to be a win-win situation.
One thing that I think is going to be very interesting to see is when more of these sites launch, and we're going to have some of those people may not be aware of, like Ace Play is going to be getting rolling here very shortly. I just actually got the beta test on Infinity Poker, the one that Gavin Smith is endorsing. And that one's going to be, I think, one people are going to really enjoy. But there will be more and more sites out there. But the question is, are they just going to be sharing the same players? Are we going to? I mean, I don't know if there's going to be a lot of loyalty here in terms of, I'm just going to play on Ultimate or I'm just going to play on WSOP.com. I think everybody's just going to look for the best tournament at the time to play and go play it.
Yeah, I definitely could see that. I definitely see that happening as well. It's definitely going to have to offer a lot of promotions, bonuses, reload bonuses, etc. These are things that you sort of have to do to help build a site. It's not like you can just launch a website and then people just show up automatically. It's not like PokerStars wasn't the number 1 site when they started. It took several years for them to build themselves up to be the number 1 poker site in the world. And some people there's going to have to be a lot of patience out there. I mean, there are going to be I'm not sure these sites are making money at this point. A lot of overlays, but they got hopefully. You hope at some point that they can get the interstate compacts going. I know you mentioned that also with Marco. Yeah, it's sort of like states are going to have to get together on this. The more states that join together, the bigger fields will be, the bigger prize pools, more money in the game, and that's that also mean more revenue for the states. And hopefully you sort of hope that states are not going to try to inhibit each other. When if they all cooperate, they all benefit.
Yeah, that's something that you look at these companies, and you can even look at with the American Gaming Association is always fighting PokerStars. We got to stop PokerStars at every turn. And now some of the states are getting into that little. Well, we got to keep everybody playing on a California site, and then to heck with everybody else. But I don't think that they understand that the more compacts they get into, and the more players on the site, the bigger the site's going to be, and the more players are going to flock to it. I mean, it doesn't seem to, if you go to one room and you only see 10 tables going, you go to another one and see 10 tables going, and it keeps going like that, you're not going to make any money. But if if you have 100 tables going on one site that you're compacted with, that's where people want to go play. I just don't know if there's a real understanding with these guys yet in the industry of how that attraction works.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I mean, the thing is that, this is something that, among the gaming community, among casinos, it's something that they've never really experienced. I mean, we sort of see it in the lotteries. They figured out a long time ago, when you have your Mega Millions, your Powerballs, when you get together, that's when you get you get these huge, hundreds of millions of dollars that will be, someone will win. And, that increases the number of people buying tickets, which increases the number of money that can be won, and that's it helps everyone out. Unfortunately, it hasn't trickled. That idea has not trickled their way down to poker. I mean, it's sort of like poker is really the only casino game that can really do that. That needs a sort of liquidity. All your casino games don't really need that because they're basically playing against the house.
Right.
And with poker, it's sort of like you're playing against someone else and not against the house. So. That can be a difficult idea for some people.
Yeah, so I suppose we'll see what happens. How are you feeling about things in New Jersey right now? What news have you seen lately that is encouraging and discouraging to you?
Well, I mean, the good thing is that we sort of know that there's now 4 casinos that have received approval for an internet gaming license. First it was the Borgata, then the Golden Nugget, and then right after that was the the two Trump casinos, Trump Taj and Trump Plaza. Now but the situation is you gotta get it's sort of a partnership. So I mean, like with Borgata, they have B-Win Party. B-Win Party has not been approved yet, and they need to get approved before they can actually launch the online poker site in November. So it's sort of like it's great to have the casinos hooked up, but we sort of need the gaming the poker software sites to get approved as well, or this is basically all for naught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, this interesting situation with PokerStars. We keep hearing from the PPA, PokerStars is going to make it. They're going to make it. What do you think?
I'm surprised that I think the PPA is basically trying to the more people if they can get the biggest poker site out there back in the United States, they feel that's a huge win. I mean, a lot of people have pretty much said there's no way they're going to get in because of they had to make this huge settlement. They were operating in the U.S. after the UIGEA passed, and basically took Black Friday for them to leave the U.S. I personally don't see how they can get back in so quickly. I mean, it's something that's definitely not going to happen in Nevada, basically because they're considered a quote bad actor, so they can't get in for several years anyways. But it appears New Jersey doesn't have that issue, at least apparently. I mean, they had the deal before that they were going to purchase a casino. That plan fell through. They're going to try to do something with another casino. They're going to spend $10 million on a poker room at Resorts World if they get approved. They're basically trying to throw money at a situation that basically make an offer that New Jersey can't refuse, and I'll be intrigued to see if they actually do refuse.
Yeah, it will be a lot of fun to see, and maybe a new PokerStars room at the Resorts Casino, which would be. I'm still trying to figure that one out, but hey, you know what? You got the money. I suppose putting up a $10 million addition won't hurt too bad. So.
No, definitely not.
So, hey, of course, now we had the announcements of the Poker Hall of Fame, and you are a voter. I'll ask you about your vote in a little bit. But, of course, Scotty Wynn and Tom McAvoy finally getting in the Poker Hall of Fame. Aside from your vote, what was your reaction to those two winning the election?
Well, I mean, I'll say I was incredibly surprised that Tom McAvoy got in. Personally, I don't feel he deserves to be in. He's a world champion. He's won several bracelets. He wrote a bunch of books, but there's just so many other people, in my opinion, that should have gone in ahead of McAvoy. Either via their play or the work that they've done regarding books. Someone like David Sklansky should be in well before Tom McAvoy. Someone like Mike Carroll, Mason Malmuth. They should be they should be the ones being considered for Poker Hall of Fame, not Tom McAvoy. Personally, I'm happy that Scotty Wynn got in. I mean, it was unfortunate. Basically, he sort of served a penalty for his actions at the when he won the horse event. 5 years ago or however long ago it was. The problem was, everyone saw that on TV. He made a fool out of himself, and it definitely hurt him among the eyes of the voters. When Poker Hall when the nomination process was taking place the past few years.
So let me ask you about your vote. Give everybody a little bit of an idea about when you get a ballot, how the system works, and what were your choices this year?
Okay, so we get a ballot with the 10 nominees. We are given 10 points that we can award from. We can submit a blank ballot. Of course, if you submit a blank ballot, that's sort of like why'd you have a vote in the first place? But everyone, pretty much they can give all 10 points to one person, or they can split it up among 2 or 3 other players. Personally, I gave 6 points to Carlos Mortensen. Someone who has won 3 World Poker Tour titles. He's won the main event. He had a deep run this year at the main event. This was his first year. He turned 40 this year, so he was eligible. I thought of the people involved on the list this year, he was the one most deserving. I then gave 3 points to. I gave 3 points to Scotty Wynn, and then I gave my final point to Chris Bjorn, because in my opinion, there are some certain issues regarding the Poker Hall of Fame nominating process and the voting process that sort of screw over the non-North American, basically players who are based outside of North America. We don't really have anyone outside of the U.S. that's in the Poker Hall of Fame. I mean, of course, Johnny Chan was not born in this country. Sky Wynn wasn't born in this country, but they got they pretty much got all of their fame within the United States. And we see someone like a Devilfish Elliott, Thor Hansen, Chris Bjorn, Marcel Lusk, players of that ilk aren't being considered. And also, I don't believe there's that many people. Well, another thing is that the Poker Hall of Fame, the people that vote for the Poker Hall of Fame, it consists of the surviving Poker Hall of Fame members and the members of the poker media, and which, of course, like you mentioned, I do have one of those votes. And there's 17 people that have a vote in the media, and I don't believe if there's like 2 or 3 at most outside the U.S. that have a vote. And I think personally, I would give up my vote next year to someone outside the United States to help, as a way to help move along the process of getting more of an international feel to the Poker Hall of Fame. It's supposed to cover all. Again, this is sort of going back to the bracelet discussion. It doesn't help if the Poker Hall of Fame consists of some people just who are known within the United States. We need to help build the reach of poker across the world, and I mean and I think a lot of other people feel the same way about that.
Well, and I'll agree with you to a point. I think somebody like Marcel Lusk does get overlooked, and really I believe if you look at Marcel's resume and what he's done, just away from the tables as well, Marcel really should be in the Poker Hall of Fame. I mean, I'm 100% with Marcel, and I know a lot of people have brought up that European factor. I think that the one issue that these guys have to do is, maybe they've got to make themselves a little more aware to people. Maybe they've got to get out and try and do what they can. Maybe do a little campaigning and, push a little harder because it is difficult. When you're in Europe, you're not going to have the exposure that you get in the United States to the American players. But at the same time, we also don't want to make it a situation where European players, you're voting for somebody because they're European. You want to vote for somebody because they deserve to be in. And I know there was a lot of sentiment for Thor Hansen, and Chris Bjorn as well. It's a tricky balance, isn't it?
I mean, it is. I mean, I can certainly agree. It is a difficult balance. And I mean, there's definitely people who have been on the ballot for several years that have campaigned to get into to be considered for the Poker Hall of Fame. I mean, there's definitely various factors at work. I mean, Doyle Brunson mentioned, after McAvoy and the win was announced, he gave all of his votes to Jennifer Harmon, and because his opinion is that he felt that because she's such a great cash game player, that she should get considered for the Poker Hall of Fame. I personally consider more. I mean, I probably lean more towards the poker tournaments because those are results that are really known. I mean, of course, people always say, how much have they actually won at poker, because of various aspects, taxes, backing, how many tournaments they played. And, cash games is sort of more anecdotal. I mean, we hear certain players are really good at, have crushed the cash games. We hear certain people, I hear they do great. I hear they do terrible. I hear they're the spot in the game. And, it's sort of like if you want to keep a certain player in the game, you're not going to let the public know that they're bad at cash games. You may want to butter them up a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying that's the case about Jennifer. I don't know her. I mean, she's playing the big games, for several years. I don't know her financial situation. It's not really my business. But I mean, there's various factors that go into everyone. That go into everyone's thoughts into who they vote for. And like I said, it's definitely, like you said, you don't want to just select someone who's because they're from Europe or outside the United States. I certainly agree with that. I mean, but I think the people that were on the list, for the most part, deserve to be on the list. And I think what's going to happen, over the next few years, there's going to be several people that are going to turn 40, like your Negreanos, your Ivies, your Gus Hansons, and they're going to sort of push some of these people who may have been on the, they're going to be appearing as one of the 10 nominees, and it's going to make the case very interesting for certain people who they will vote for, and but I mean it definitely needs to get a more global perspective, in my opinion.
Well, one point that Lane Flack brought up to me on Wednesday when I asked him about this was that he doesn't feel that players that are 40 should really be the ones getting into the Hall of Fame, partially because there's guys that are out there that pay their dues more, but there is also chances that guys that are 40 still have plenty of time to to fuck up. I mean, to paraphrase what he said. And, so he's a little bit concerned about the younger guys getting in the Hall of Fame, and he preferred to vote. If he had a vote, he'd prefer to vote for a more established person who has a stronger reputation. Now, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, well, let's put it this way. I think you would agree that someone like Negreanu, I mean, unless they kill someone, I mean, it's sort of like it's sort of an odd opinion for Lane to have. I mean, it's not like Daniel Negreanu's played for 15 years. I mean, we see Phil Ivey's played for almost 20 years. We sort of know what they're we sort of have an idea of what they've done at this point. And I think I sort of maybe having the age at 40 is a little, maybe 45 would be a little bit better, but I personally, I don't see a problem with having the requirement to be 40. It's sort of like the problem with the issue of poker is that there's not a retirement age. We see Doyle Brunson ran deep in the main event this year. It's sort of like there's no age limit. Anyone as long as you're above legal age, you're and you have the money, you're more than welcome to play poker. And I mean, I think 20 years is well, it'll be 19 years for people who are 21. I think 19 years is it's a pretty good amount of time, I think, especially in these days. There's so much poker out there, and there's so much evidence as to the success or lack of success a person has had in their career.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to be fun. I got to tell you, I have a feeling this vote this year was pretty split. I mean, just from what I'm hearing, I think a lot of people went a lot of different directions this time around, for sure. I mean, and it was a very good group too. So, I mean, is that the kind of feel you got?
Yeah, it's definitely something. I mean, when I talked to my editor, Lance Bradley, about this, he's also someone who has a vote. He felt this could have been a year that someone like McAvoy could have gotten in, because the voting would have been very spread out, because there were so many worthy candidates. There wasn't really like a slam dunk out there, and I think what would be a good idea is not have every person's vote revealed of who they voted for, but I like to know what the standings were. Like how many points did McAvoy get? How many points did Wynn get? How many points did Jennifer Harmon get? I would sort of like to know how the standings worked out. I mean, I would agree that it was probably very close. Someone who may have given if someone didn't give an extra point to a particular person, that they may not have won. They may not have been considered, or they didn't. I would, but yeah, like I said, I wish that we had an idea of how close the voting was.
Would you advocate going to 3 players instead of 2?
I wouldn't say at this point. I mean, we may get to a point when there's definitely more people voting. Because again, next year we're going to have 2 more members. Unless hopefully no one among the living Hall of Famers will pass away, obviously, but we'll have at least 3 more people to vote that will be able to vote for the Poker Hall of Fame. And I think we're going to get to the point where the field will be so large, there'll be so many people voting, we'll have to go to 3 people or 4. I mean, we'll get to a point where that is going to be a reality.
See, I think it's just getting to the point where there's so many great players out there, and you look at that list of 10 this year, for example. You really could have made a case for just about every one of them, for sure, to be in. And it's going to get to the point where we're going to see the names like Negreanu and Ivy, and this generation of players that we really started to get to know coming around through the poker boom are going to be all coming up on this list. And it just seems to me that limiting to 2 is just not going to be enough to do everybody justice. I mean, you think about that. That means over a decade, only 20 players are going to get in, and I mean, you can't tell me there's not 40 or 50 players. Probably about 40 players or so that would deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So, I would certainly not have a problem expanding it to at least 3 more, or to 3 total.
Yeah, I could see a possibility of having 2 players and have someone that was considered a non-player, basically because I think David Sklansky should be in. He should have been in a long time ago. Problem is, he has some issues that certain people don't like, so that's why he never gets considered. And I think I won't go into any further details, but I mean, people who in the know what I'm referring to. And I think we need to have maybe for the Baseball Hall of Fame, for all the Football Hall of Fame, etc. We have like the players, and then we have the management or the officials. We're gonna have to get to the point. If there's actually is a physical poker Hall of Fame, which hopefully will come sometime soon, which would help in this. But we need someone like a builders, someone who wasn't a player at the table, but someone who's involved with poker, maybe like a Matt Savage would be an example of a tournament director who's had a pretty large influence in the world of poker in his career. Or people of that ilk, they're probably not going to be nominated, at least by the public, because they're not as aware or they're not as familiar with certain people. I think that's good. That's something I could see happening in the near future as we get this, with this upcoming group of people being considered for in the coming years.
Yeah, it's going to get very interesting. But I'll tell you what, November 3rd is going to be one hell of a night at the Rio with Scotty Wynn and Tom McAvoy going in. I mean, 2 very, very popular choices. And that is going to be, I think, one special Hall of Fame ceremony for sure. Can't wait to see it.
Yes, it'll certainly be very interesting. For both, I mean, it's a great moment it's a great moment for Scotty and Tom to be among the newest inductees in the Poker Hall of Fame. And I sort of don't agree with McAvoy, but you know what? He got the vote, so congratulations to him.
All right, now Kevin, before I let you go here,
yes,
I got to ask you about this picture. I'm really curious because I haven't got to talk to you for a little bit. So I'm gonna throw this picture up on the screen, and I got to know what was going on and how sober were you when this picture was taken, if you can see it. This is from your Facebook page.
Okay.
Okay, so you got the little flag going. You got the little the cutesy hat. What was happening there, Kevin? Because I think a lot of people were concerned when they saw this.
Yes, I was actually very sober at the time of that picture.
Oh, no excuses. All right.
No excuses. No, it was basically. I mean, Stump the Kev Math was a sort of relatively popular feature of the Bluff coverage at this year's WSOP, and Bluff is at the World Series of Poker Europe. So we did a couple of tapings of Stump the Kev Math.
Oh, it's Stump Le Kev Math. All right.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I had my beret. I had a baguette, and if you've seen the first episode, one has been published. You can see me do some damage to the baguette. Got a little frustrated on some of the questions. So I hope. It was definitely a fun thing I did, during the summer, and this was a fun bit I did in the at Bluff HQ. So I think there's gonna be another one that will take place. I filmed my segment obviously because I'm here in Atlanta. So the other side with the players answering the questions should be appearing in the next couple of days on Bluff.com, and I hope plenty of people click on it and enjoy it.
All right, sounds good. Well, make sure you guys follow Kevin at KevMath on Twitter. I think everybody does anyway, but we'll see if we can get you some more followers just for fun. But
I'm working my way to 20,000. 20,000 by the end of the year. That's my goal.
You're the man.
I'm less than 1,000 away.
Awesome. Well, good luck to you on that. And Kevin, it'll be good to talk to you. I can't wait to tell you everything that's happening with the show. It's pretty exciting, but we'll get back to having a weekly KevMath feature very soon, I promise.
Well, I'll be glad to hear it. I'm certainly happy for you that you're now in Vegas, and you've got the terrestrial radio show, you got the online show. You're just full of shows.
I am, and it's going to get worse.
Oh, well, you want it to get worse though, right?
Yes, absolutely. You bet.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin. Hey, well, thanks for coming on the show tonight. I greatly appreciate it, and I will speak to you again soon, my friend. Take care of yourself. All right.
You too, and have fun in Vegas.
All right, I'll see you later.
Take care.
All right, there you go, everybody. Kev Math doing his thing. All right, Kevin Mathers, join us there on the Mark Hoke Show. All right, let's get a break in, and we're going to come back. We've got a horse tournament going on. Still time to get in there. Club ID is 629454 on PokerStars.net. Password is RogueWire, as in where you are watching. Some of you, at least, are watching the show. I know we've got a Facebook and everything else out there, but get over to RogueWire.com if you wouldn't mind, please. All right, let's get a break in, and we will be right back here on the Mark Hoke Show. Thank you for joining us. Let's play some poker, guys. See you on the other side.
When it comes to custom poker tables, why would you buy something someone else designed and even named for their sales or marketing purposes?
The Nighthawk, the Gambler, the Big Slick, the Nuts.
Sure, you can customize it if you want, as long